Imagine waking up one day to find your name, your face, and your future written on a list controlled not by a court of law, but by a foreign power thousands of miles away. Today, such a list exists. It is not a conspiracy theory. It is Iran's kill list, and for the first time, parts of it have gone public. And while Iran's threats spread across borders, there's a twist in the Middle East story. The Houthis, a group often aligned with Tehran, are making a surprising exception in who they target. That contradiction deserves our full attention. Iran's kill list going public is not just a headline. It's a chilling confirmation of what many dissidents have feared for years. For decades, critics of Tehran's regime who fled the country believed distance might bring safety. But the recent exposure of names shows otherwise. On these lists are journalists who dared to write the truth, former officials who broke with the regime, human rights activists who documented abuses, and ordinary citizens who raised their voices online. What makes this so disturbing is the brazenness of it. Iran is not merely silencing opposition at home. It is openly marking people for elimination across borders. The revelation of these names strips away the illusion of safety for exiled Iranians, reminding them that escape does not mean immunity. It is a declaration by the state that no matter where you go, their reach will follow. And by going public, whether intentionally leaked or exposed by investigators, the list transforms private fear into collective alarm, turning a whispered threat into a global warning. The danger of Iran's kill list lies in the fact that it does not stop at national borders. These plots have surfaced in European capitals, in North America, and in neighboring Gulf states, showing that Tehran's campaign of intimidation is not confined to its own region. Dissidents who once sought asylum in democratic countries have discovered that they are still being watched, followed, and, in some cases, targeted for assassination. Security agencies in the West have already disrupted multiple attempts to carry out such operations, proving that this is not theory, but reality. Each foiled plot is a reminder that Iran is willing to risk international fallout to maintain its image of absolute control over critics. This global reach turns the kill list into a tool of psychological warfare. Even those who thought they had escaped are forced to live with the constant fear that they remain within the regime's grasp. It also sends a calculated message to others who might speak out. Asterisk, your voice will not protect you, and your location will not save you. Asterisk, in this way, Iran is not simply silencing individuals. It is trying to deter entire communities from resisting. What is happening with the Houthis is best understood as part of a larger strategic game, where every move is calculated to shift power and influence. Iran and its allies rarely act randomly. They operate on a chessboard where threats, concessions, and exceptions are tools of negotiation. By choosing not to target certain individuals or groups, the Houthis are signaling selectivity, which gives them bargaining power. It allows them to show the world that they are not reckless militants, but players capable of discipline and tactical restraint. This form of control violence is meant to send a double message. To their enemies, it demonstrates that they can escalate if they wish. To potential allies or negotiators, it shows that they can also withhold violence when it serves their interests. In effect, the Houthis are leveraging their alignment with Iran while carving out their own space as political actors. Each exception, each adjustment in their targeting becomes a form of communication, an unspoken negotiation that blends warfare with diplomacy. This is less about ideology and more about using calculated restraint as a way to advance broader strategic goals. The Houthis' decision to make an exception is both surprising and revealing. As a movement that has long been aligned with Tehran and often mirrored its hostility toward opponents, the expectation was that they would follow the same playbook without hesitation. Yet by sparing a group or individual many assumed would be on their target list, they have disrupted that pattern. This raises questions about their motives. The exception could signal a calculated effort to reposition themselves, to show that they are not just an extension of Iran's will, but actors with their own political ambitions. It may also be a move to gain leverage in ongoing negotiations, whether with regional rivals, international mediators, or even humanitarian organizations seeking to de-escalate conflict in Yemen. By holding back in a way that defies expectations, the Houthis can project both restraint and control, qualities that could help them argue for legitimacy on the global stage. In making this exception, they're not displaying weakness, but rather sending a message. They are willing to bend the rules when it suits their long-term interests. This single act, therefore, is less about mercy and more about strategic positioning. The wider implications of Iran's kill list and the Houthis' unexpected restraint go beyond the individuals directly involved. What is at stake here is the credibility of international law and the very idea that borders can provide protection from persecution. If a state can openly target its critics abroad and its allies can selectively choose when to act violently, then the global system built on sovereignty and human rights is under direct challenge. These events also highlight how proxy groups are evolving. The Houthis are not simply following orders, but adapting their actions to maximize political gain, proving that militant movements are capable of playing the long game. For ordinary people, the existence of a public kill list sends a chilling message. Speaking out carries risks that no passport or visa can erase. At the same time, exposure of such lists is crucial because secrecy is what empowers them. When the world sees the names, when the strategy becomes visible, it becomes harder for states and proxies to operate in the shadows. Transparency is, in itself, a form of resistance, turning fear into awareness and awareness into pressure for accountability. So as we reflect on Iran's kill list and the Houthis' surprising exception, we must recognize that these are not isolated stories from a distant conflict. They are signs of a world where intimidation crosses borders and where violence is wielded as a tool of politics. But there is power in exposure. When the shadows are brought into the light, when the lists are made public, and when exceptions are analyzed for what they truly mean, we strip away fear and replace it with understanding. And understanding is the first step to action. The challenge before us is clear. Will we allow these tactics to normalize the politics of fear, or will we insist on upholding the principles of justice, safety, and human dignity? The answer depends on our vigilance, our courage, and our refusal to stay silent. Because in the face of threats and selective violence, silence is not neutrality, it is surrender. And surrender is one thing the world cannot afford.